How to find a reliable contractor. In today's video, I'm going to share with you all how I found a good contractor for my current house flip. As you all know, I've been working on a house flip, and I already had a list of contractors that I contacted to give me a bid on this project. And these are the different steps that I took in order to find good contractors. It's important to have a list of GCs, a list of people who do flooring, windows, roofing, and other areas, so you can also have subcontractors on your list. So these are the exact steps I took to find mine, and how I found other contractors in my business that I use for my other rental property that I use to just do simple updates on the property. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below as I take you all along this journey on this house flip that I'm working on. All right, so we're here on Zillow, and all I did was pull up a city of Nashville, and I looked at sold listings. So down below here, you can see sold, and then you go down to more, and then you put in keywords remodel or renovated. You're looking for properties that have the word remodel or renovated in them, because you want to look for properties that have been updated by contractors, and usually they're going to be those listings that have those keywords in it. And so that's important. And I know there's different websites that you can use, but I found Zillow very simple to use. And so I look at the listings, and you can see, like, for example, this property, this is a remodel property by a contractor. Just looking at the layout, the LVP flooring, the white walls, the backsplash, the granite countertops, it's been staged. I can tell that this has been staged also. You could just tell, like, the stainless steel appliances in the kitchen and just the whole layout. You know, this been a recently renovated property. So one thing that you have to ask yourself, okay, this has been renovated. Who's the contractor for this property? How can I find the contractor? And another thing that you can check to see this property has been renovated is by looking at the price history of this listing. So right here, you see it's been sold in September of 2023 for $450,000. Now, it seemed like they did try to sell it for higher, but it didn't sell for a while. But it was sold in March of 2023. So you know this was an investor flip. They bought it and they turned around and sold it in about 6 months or so. And so you know this has been flipped by a contractor or an investor using a GC. Just looking at the timeline, looking at the price and things of that nature. So one thing I would do is I'll go to the listing provided by, and you can look at the listing agent's name. And so with that, I'm going to Google search that name. So yeah, I'll go on Google and type in this guy's name, and I would just ask him, hey, I noticed you listed and sold this property at this address. You know, who's the contractor that worked on this property? And that's super important to say, because you want that specific contractor, not just for them to give you a general list of contractors. You want to be like, hey, I saw this property. Obviously, this person is current. They're working in the area. They're working in the market. I know you were probably working with the investor, but who was the contractor for this property? And be specific about it, and just make sure you can pull that out of them. And then also you can ask them about other contractors, subcontractors that they have seen their sellers use, because that's important also in this whole process with finding contractors. And usually most agents should be able to give you that name. And that's how I found my contractor. I looked in my area and I saw different flip properties, and I contacted a listing agent, and I actually found them on Facebook, and I Facebook messaged them. So that's another thing that you can do. Instead of emailing them, you can find them on Facebook and message them, and put the listing, put the address, and put everything, and they'll give you the contractor that worked on this property if they know that information. They may not know that information. If not, they'll give you some other name that you can work on in contact for your contracting needs. And so that was that's a major way to find them. And then the other thing is that you may ask them for other things, and you let them know, hey, once I sell this property, I'm going to use you if I can find a good contractor through you, or things of that nature. And so that's a major way. I use Zillow, Facebook Messenger to find contractors. All right, now I'm going to talk about other ways that I found contractors or subcontractors. The other way is just asking other investors. Now, a lot of investors are tight-lipped about their contractors, especially if they're reliable, they're good, and they're affordable, which is super hard to get. They always say you got to pick one or the other. They either can be good, but they're expensive. They can either be affordable, but they're not as good, right? Or they could be reliable and affordable, but they're not fast. And investors, time is money, quality is good. So you got to pick and choose which one you want. And so if they find one that hits all three, they're not going to tell anybody. You can be persistent. You can get that out of them, things of that nature. And another thing that I did was on Facebook, sometimes investors would actually list their projects. And then from there, I would find the contractor, because usually the contractor, maybe they comment down below and it's a company's name or it's an individual. I even had a contractor, their page actually showed their flip and tagged the investor in it. And so when I was looking through the investor that I'm friends with, I saw the contractor he was working with because it was on their page because he was tagged in it. So I was like, oh, wow. And I contacted that contractor. It seems like they're a really good contractor because they're 6 months out. And so it was like, okay, this person is really good, and a lot of investors like them. But I recommend you all open a second Facebook. I don't know if you can actually do this, but having a social media page only dedicated to your business is important, because your personal life and family and friends, it can all distract you, and like the other posts from your investors may be flooded and pushed down because you're reacting to your family or friends. And it's all good, but maybe have another account for business purposes, or only business only. And so that's how I operate. And so I think that's really important to finding these different contractors. Another thing that you can do to find contractors, how I found different subs, is I talked to my hard money lender. So my hard money lender, or a lender that I was going to use, he actually gave me some contacts for people that he used when he would flip properties. And he was like, and he wants me to do well, obviously, because he's lending me money. So he's not so tight-lipped about different subcontractors that he uses. And so, because I have to pay him back eventually. And so, that's another way. Another way I found people were just word of mouth. So I did some projects on my rental property. And so one major thing that I did was I replaced the windows. And from the windows, I was like, hey, do you know anybody good with gutters? And then when I went to that gutters person, I was like, hey, this person referred me. I'm an investor, and you got to make sure you say these words, because they have to understand that you're an investor and you're trying to get the best prices, right? Not no retail buyer. From there, this person gave me an electrician, right? And so that's another way to just build up that contact list so you can get people along the way. And then the other way is to go on Facebook groups, and on your RIA groups, you can search up like different posts that people put. So one thing that I did is whenever someone posted, hey, you guys know any good window person, and they would comment down below, their experiences with different companies or different people, I would save that post into a collection labeled like construction contacts. And so later I can refer to it in order to find contractors. That was one major way how I found a ton of people too. So overall, there's so many different ways that you can find good contractors. I think word of mouth is one of the biggest ones. Talking to investors and talking to real estate agents, because they would know, who people are working with, especially if it's an agent that works with a lot of investors and lists a lot of investors' flips and things of that nature. All right, you all, hope you all enjoyed this video of finding contractors and how I found my contractor for this house flip. Please stay tuned as I continue this series of showing you all how this house flip is going and teach you all along the way my mistakes and the suggestions that would help you better in your house flipping real estate investing journey. All right, be sure to like this video, comment down below, and I'll talk to you all later.